Okay,
No, I'm the king.
You're the king. No, I'm the king.
No, I'm the king. No, wait, guys. Wait, you...
Why are so many movies bombing at the box office now? Tell me. Guys, welcome to the new episode of Meeting Halfway. Me, Mark, and this Veronica. Turned into Tarzan for a minute.
Me, Mark, this Veronica.
Yeah, back for a new episode with Wench, special guest star Wench.
Special
Wench, say
guest.
hi.
Stupid.
Yeah, what's been going on in the week, Veronica, so far?
Let's find out, Mark. Let me just beep beep boop boop boop. We saw a couple of new movies recently.
Couple new movies, couple new shows, and we're gonna talk about some of them.
Yeah, we saw Elemental recently. There's the first one.
Yeah. I made a review on it on my channel, and I have nothing to say. That was like an 8-minute video.
I liked that movie.
It was fine. It was good.
It was
solid.
It was a lot better than I thought it would be.
People hated on this movie so much just for having a generic plot that when they saw it, they were like, "Oh, okay, it's a generic plot, but that's fine."
But it wasn't generic. It was kind of complex and deep.
That was fine. Yeah.
That was fine.
Was it deep? Yeah. It was kind of like the
It
surface
was
level.
deep.
I feel.
What?
What?
How deep can you go? What would be
As
more
deep
than
as
that?
you want to go. I don't know.
So you're thinking that the Waterman was pretty shallow.
The Waterman was less annoying than I thought he would be. I thought he was going to be the most annoying character ever. Just used to like appeal to like Twitter, you know, where it's like, oh, he says wholesome, quirky lines, which to be fair, he is doing that to Twitter.
He is like, yeah, he's Twitter's new love right now.
He wasn't as obnoxious as I was expecting him to be, at least.
You know what? His awkwardness and his like little quirks were excusable because of just like how he interacted with the fire bitch, how they like did stuff together, how he would talk with her, their interactions with their family, like all his awkward, weird quirkiness. I felt like was like reasonable.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
You know, Elemental was it was good. It was solid. I have no desire to ever watch it again compared to a lot of other Pixar movies. I kind of just put it in the same boat as like Luca or Turning Red, where I'm like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again.
Yeah.
If it was like on, I'd be like, oh, that's nice. I thought it was cute. That was it.
Yeah, that's it. That's what.
Yeah.
But Pixar has such like a monumental like reputation that them releasing a movie that's just all right is like not good enough for people.
Why do you think everyone expected it to be bad? Just because it had a
just
basic
because it
plot?
has a generic plot, and Pixar are known for like setting the standard, you know? So you have all these other movies doing all this cool stuff like Puss in Boots and Spider-Verse, and then you have a Pixar movie that is just
But it
a
took
Pixar
that.
movie.
It just took that much, huh?
Yeah.
It just took that.
Next movie. What else? We watched the Boogeyman.
Yeah, the
I was gonna say the
Boogeyman.
Bye Bye Man. Remember I showed you the opening to the Bye Bye Man where it's all one uncut shot. It's like brightly lit. It's like
Bye Bye Man.
It's like zooming into a house and the guy opens
in
the
like a
door and,
neighborhood,
like,
right?
shotguns. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it looks terrible, but it's like, oh, it's all one uncut shot. Like, because we've been noticing that recently. A lot of shows, whenever they want to
Anytime they try to build suspense in any kind of situation, they
or when
always
they want
have
to show off.
Yeah, or when they want to show off. It's always one shot the whole way through.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what it is? I think it's people try to like do the Children of Men one shot, like one take.
Never seen it.
Damn.
Whoa, that was uncut shot.
That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was one cut gems.
I've never seen that.
Me neither.
We should probably do
Okay.
it.
So the Boogeyman we saw, and it was
It was pretty fun.
it was solid. I would probably put it on a similar level as I did Smile.
It just looked like one of those Blumhouse like horrors, just like one of those really cheaply made ones.
It wasn't Blumhouse, was it?
No.
Also known
No,
as Blumhouse. Yeah, it wasn't Blumhouse. Was it like Warner Brothers or Sony?
Oh, fuck if I care.
I'm
cares?
interested. I'm interested in seeing like whose movies are doing well and who's doing what.
I want to say it was
Fun. It was fun.
Columbia.
Wrong.
Oh, Columbia. Oh, I don't know, but it was a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
For a horror movie, for a modern horror movie, it was fine. I was
like-
entertained.
I feel like a lot of horror movies recently have been doing something where they kind of like push the boundaries and it becomes like a weird, like paranormal situation. You know what I mean? Like ghosts or like spirits, evil spirits or whatever. I feel like that's a really big thing right now. Um, and so with this movie, it kind of did that. It had like the ghost of the mom bending the flame.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. I liked it as like a storytelling thing because it's like set up earlier,
It
but
was
at the
kind of
same
cheap.
time,
It was like a Cinderella story, like
it's
baby
like
fairy tale
you
ending.
broke the immersion here that like these are helpless characters when they have a ghost fighting
Also,
for
like,
them.
what about the woman who was like trapped in her house and her husband was killed?
Yeah, I don't think we get an update on her. I think no, she dies.
She dies, but my thought is like, how come her husband's ghost didn't protect her? You
I
know,
guess they weren't powerful enough. I don't know.
it's so lame. It's just what. Well, I have rules like the boogeyman can come and like
horror
poke
movies.
your eye out.
I really
but-
don't like rules of horror movies. Sometimes they can really like make or break it. Where it's either really cool, like Nightmare on Elm Street is kind of like a cool idea, but then and it has like set up rules. You know, he can only
Yeah.
get you when you're sleeping and shit like that. But he can come out like he can like fuck with you in the real world.
Or
can't
you
he?
can like manipulate your reality even though you're
Yeah.
sleeping.
But then you have stuff like where the rule is just that the being is omnipresent and can do anything and will kill the characters no matter what. Like Paranormal Activity, where I'm like, we tried watching it recently, and I can't watch. I can't watch any of those movies because they're all so boring, and I know what the ending is gonna be.
Dude,
the characters are gonna die.
You know what? Paranormal Activity 3, the one where it's like the prequel and it takes place in the 80s. That one's pretty fun.
I've only ever seen the one in full where there's like a portal in the house, but I've also seen one.
Oh, there's a portal.
Yeah, in like a bedroom, and that's the ending. Is that the kids get like stuck through a portal to the demon world or something
Is that
like that.
is that the one with the Bloody Mary? The one you were telling me about that you watched?
I think
when you
so.
were younger?
Yeah, actually, that trailer terrified me as a kid. But that's the kind of horror movie where I'm like, I don't care because there's no like stakes. And that
At
like
least with a boogeyman, it was like realistic because it's obviously a boogeyman, but it was realistic enough to like all the way till the ending.
you know what the Boogeyman made me realize though.
Hmm.
I was telling you about it when we were leaving, but I saw some like director or some producer or someone like some veteran like talking about it recently where they were like, oh yeah, movies now there's like a weird like rule from studios or like streaming services or like whatever that your movie has to have something like interesting happen within the first 30 seconds. So
Oh,
watching
yeah.
the Boogeyman, it like immediately opens baby death, you know?
It was
In
like
like a
5
minute.
minutes.
It was not 5 minutes.
It was like 5 minutes.
Okay, it feels like 2 minutes. That's what I'm gonna say.
No, and I'm changing it. I thought it was 1 minute mark.
It probably was 1 minute. I don't know.
Or 5.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but no, Boogeyman was all right. I think it was like a moderate like success. I feel like it's easy nowadays for horror movies to do well. I feel like there's only a certain amount of like we were
You
talking
know what
about.
it is horror movies don't take a lot anymore
No,
to
it's
entertain
like,
you.
yeah, it's jump scares
You
and
look at,
central
like-
locations.
You look at like old Saw, and you look at like
Saw
know-
has to fight for the gore. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you look at those older horror movies. Saw is like the only example I could have thought of, but like and then you look at ones like now, like you look at Megan.
But that, you look at like Nightmare on
And
Elm Street again, where it's
Boogeyman.
like the
They were so mid with their kills. You know what I mean? They always do it like off screen almost.
well, that's what I'm saying because they want PG-13.
Oh
but-
yeah.
Yeah, horror movies. I feel like so we were talking about comedy movies kind of dying out in theaters. I've seen like I see a couple every now and then like is getting like terrible reviews.
Is it? Oh, I like Jennifer Lawrence.
But it's probably gonna be like a 2000s ass comedy movie. You know?
I just
You're probably gonna
imagine,
get something
like,
out of it.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is that one Amy Schumer movie, Trainwreck, with
Mm.
Bill Hader.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That
Bill
was
Hader
really
plays
bad,
just like
wasn't it?
a guy. He plays pretty much Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I feel like those comedy movies don't really get made anymore. And I feel like there's only a certain amount of movies, like genres, that people are willing to see in theaters these days.
I guess what do you think is selling most right now? Wench, stop sucking on your cock while we're talking. Stupid.
I think animated movies are really like doing well right now.
Are you just saying that because of Puss in Boots and Spider-Verse, or
I don't mean what movies are good. I mean what is bringing people to theaters.
you think animated movies are bringing people to theaters?
What is the top grossing movie of the year? The Mario movie.
What about Transformers: Rise of Ultron?
I think Transformers is like gonna be like 8 or 9 on that list. Oh yeah, we saw that. We gotta talk about that later.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Boogeyman. Okay, let's get into it.
But
Boogeyman.
Pretty. What? It's
1
fine.
out of
It's
10
good.
Baba Booies. What do you rate Boogeyman?
Like a 6.5. It's a solid little
6
horror
and a half.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
6.5.
So our good friend Kellen Goff, you may know him from this episode and this episode.
And
That's
this
the only
episode.
two. Those are the only two. He invited us along to Transformers: Rise of Mr.
Ultron.
Beast. And it was
Honestly, okay, so they have this like fancy part of the theater where like you have like
the
pillars.
Dolby.
It's like the big Dolby cinema where it's like big giant Dolby speakers, and like there's also huge barriers, and you have like the
walkway in with
prolapsing chairs.
Yeah, you have like the giant screen curving
Very
around
proud
in
of
the
myself
entrance
on
with the movie on it. And you sit down, and I don't notice it. I'm not like, whoa, I'm seeing this in a Dolby theater. I feel like it's just normal.
But it's pretty like it's
pretty
crazy.
comfy. The chairs are nice,
It's
but
pretty wild, yeah.
if I was sitting in a normal chair watching the movie, I wouldn't be like, I can't do this. I need to be sitting in a Dolby cinema seat, you know? But you know what's great? Going to see a shitty movie and being in one of those theaters where they give you snacks during the movie, like
Dude,
Winnie
where
the
you can
Pooh.
order your meal.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh was the most perfect movie to see with that blood and honey. What were we talking? Oh yeah, Kellen Goff invited us to see
I was gonna say
Transformers:
Transformers.
Rise of Mr. Beast. And I've never seen any Transformer movie before. I always thought the Transformers were kind of lame.
Honestly, I feel like the Transformers movies are just like boys movies. That's how I always categorize
That's fair.
them.
I would agree.
I was just like, boys and like hot babes, and everything is super sweaty and oily.
The thing, as a kid, I felt that CMY where I was like, oh, that's like a shitty like movie trying to appeal to boys. Therefore, I don't like it. You know.
It's too generic.
It was too generic, yeah, and everyone loved it. I remember.
No offense to the Transformers fans out there, and Kelly Goff. We know you like.
I haven't consumed any media star.
But the movie itself, I was going through really bad allergies that day, and Kellen was like, "Oh, here, take a Zyrtec," and I was like, "Sure," and I knocked out throughout the whole movie.
That's right. Yeah, you can't even really talk about it.
Yeah, I was dead. I don't remember. I remember waking up to like Captain Nemo or something being like exploded, but then he gets saved.
Nemo?
Some guy, Nemo gets saved.
What?
And he gets like the Pete Davidson robot gives him his like uniform or whatever, and he saves the day. He saves Optimus Prime.
The
guy.
You mean Optimus Primal?
No, I'm the king.
You're the king. No, I'm the king.
No, I'm the king. No, wait, guys. Wait,
Yeah, no. As someone who's never seen anything Transformers related before, when the trailer came out for this one, I was like, oh my god, how creatively bankrupt are you to make Transformer animals?
Well, see, I figured like, oh, this is what people have been waiting for.
I didn't know it was a real thing.
This is what we're waiting for.
Yeah, I did not know it was like a real Transformers thing.
Think of it this way, like, wouldn't you want to see like giant robot animals too?
My mindset thinking about it was like, it's like when the Sonic movies start introducing Silver the Hedgehog, where it's like, oh, you're going like deep into the shit at this point.
But like Silver would make sense as a movie. Like Sonic 06 would make sense as a movie.
By the time you get to that, you're already like,
you think it's like, oh, you've like used your stock.
You used everything to the point where you're getting to like the tertiary stuff, you know. But I don't know how Beast Wars is.
Okay, wait, tangent.
Okay.
Do you think that they will put Amy before they put Silver?
I think that should. Yeah, they definitely will. I think that should not include Amy in the third movie because.
Really?
I would rather they include Rouge to tell Sonic Adventure 2. You don't need fucking Amy there.
I love Rouge.
Amy's just there to clog up like screen time. You know what it is? It's like Sonic Movie 2 introduces Tails and Knuckles, but Knuckles gets all the screen time. Tails does nothing, you know? So with Sonic Movie 2, imagine that, but double the characters.
Double the fun.
Double the characters where Tails still does nothing, except Amy is along to not do anything as well. Why would I want that?
Yeah, that's true.
But then that comes into the thing of like, Sonic fans don't want to see all the characters be used though. They just want to see the characters on screen running around.
Yeah, that's what you would want to see, right?
I would want to see that as a fan, but when I think about it, I'm still like, shouldn't be here.
You would rather have like a constructed story with a necessary
have a good movie than a movie that caters to my like fan service. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Transformers. The movie was so boring.
Okay, so
I barely want to talk about it.
1 out of 10 Baba Booies. We give Transformers
like
a 3.
I'd give it like a 4 or 5 maybe.
You were gonna say 6 just now.
It was so like boring. Like the Michael Bay ones have a pretty infamous reputation, but those ones at least seem like spectacle.
But the Michael Bay ones actually have like a tone to it.
Yeah.
This one was like really gray from what I being awake for.
But the Transformers had like more simple designs. So
you know what though?
Weird.
The Liz.
Liza.
Liza.
That's the one.
The Liza robot. I liked her design.
But
But she had like no
she
lines.
had like 3 lines. That's what I'm
She
saying.
didn't do shit.
You know what it is? It's that thing of like Amy Rose in Sonic Movie 3. I would go in and be disappointed to see that she only has like 2 lines in the whole movie.
So then it's like, what's the point if you didn't utilize this character?
I can't imagine being a fan of that Liza character, going to see the movie for that character because she's all over the marketing.
That one girl, there was one woman who was like coming out of the theater complaining about the movie. She was bitching about that
character. Yeah,
specifically that.
And like you have like the primal characters, the primal Transformers. They were barely in the movie.
Yeah,
only
they
the
did fuck
gorilla,
all.
only Optimus Primal did anything. The rest of them had.
But even then, they had no
one
screen
line.
time. You didn't see them like work together. You
They
didn't
were
see them
at
do
the
anything.
intro, and then they weren't introduced again until like halfway through the movie.
No, like 2/3 way into the movie.
It reminded me of the Smurfs animated movie, where the whole marketing campaign is like, there's girl Smurfs now, but they're not introduced until the end of the movie.
Wait, really?
Yeah. That's the... Yeah.
They don't have Smurfette in the Smurfs movie?
They do, but it's them finding a village where it's the opposite.
Where it's
a bunch
only
of,
Smurf women?
Yeah.
And one Smurf man?
I don't think there's
Damn,
only one
dude.
Smurf man. No.
Oh.
No, I think that... No.
I was going to say, damn, man,
Yeah.
dude, this guy. Okay, so, yeah, 3, right? No, you said 4.
4 or
Okay.
5.
I
It was
say
so,
3.
like, just boring.
From what I watched and saw, and from what I heard, it seemed like the feedback from like our audience didn't really like the movie.
Did they?
Well, the girl. And,
Oh, yeah, from our audience, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this was a pre-screening. This was like a week before the movie came out, and the theater was fucking
Yeah,
empty. And then,
it had like only like a handful of like
Transformers fans.
super Transformers fans.
And then when stuff would happen, like, they'd always be looking for their moment of, like, holy
they
shit.
want their Marvel
So,
moment
like-
where they clap and
So,
scream.
like, Bumblebee will be revived from the scene where, oh no, he dies, and everyone will be like, yes, yes. And it's like 3 people doing it, and then they immediately just stop, like, 'cause they realize
But
no
you
one's
gotta-
clapping along.
You gotta love at the very ending, the post-credit scene. Spoiler alert.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
they're having, they like show the main character. What's his name? The guy,
Diego?
Diego.
No, that's what you called him.
That's what I called him. No, I called him something else earlier. Captain Diego, Captain Nemo. Nemo opens this little envelope he gets from like the Transformers universe's equivalent of like
The government.
what's it called? Nick Fury or whatever.
Yeah.
His like Nick Fury or whatever. And like a big old door opens, and it's like, oh, we're the G.I. Joes.
He hands him a postcard that's like, here's my number, and it says G.I. Joe
It's
on
like
it.
G.I. Joe on
And the
it.
whole time when it was building up to that, Kelm was like, oh my god, it's this thing from this Transformers thing. Oh my, it's this like secret agency.
He's like, it's Sector 7.
He's
It's
like,
Sector
Agent-
7.
Yeah. And then it comes up and it's G.I. Joe.
And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
A bunch of people were like, what? In our audience. Apparently, like, Transformers fans and G.I. Joe fans have, like, a
Don't
vendetta.
mix,
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't like each other.
Also, all my Sonic comparisons are warranted because they say the word Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles in that movie like a million times.
They do reference Sonic the Hedgehog. I forgot about that.
It's almost like it's a Paramount movie, which also owns the Sonic movie, so it's like
So you think Sonic and Optimus
cross-marketing.
Primal are going to be hanging out?
No, I think it's Paramount being like, include a couple Sonic stuff in here
Imagine,
since
though.
it's the 90s and people want to see Sonic, you know?
True. Okay, so we saw that. Then we
Transformers bombed too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I think
it
it
didn't
made
do
like
well.
500 million, but these movies cost like 200
I was gonna
million.
say, didn't this movie cost around like 200 to like 300 million?
Yeah, and the average thing everybody in the internet kind of abides by is you take the production money and then you double it to account for advertising,
Like marketing.
and that's how much they need to break even. You know?
Yeah.
And Elemental, everyone's like, yes, Elemental's doing so much better now. It's made $130 million. Incredibles 2 made
How much was it? How much was it? Like 200
I
or
think
500?
like 200 million, which is
to
weird
make?
because you look at like Mario movie, 90 million, I'm pretty sure. Puss in Boots, I think like around 100 million. Like
Yeah.
all that extra money, like that doubling the budget of a usual animated film is going towards like these fancy like graphics, like these cool elemental like physics, but no one cares. That's not what an audience
And
cares about.
it doesn't really make the concept either. Like
Yeah.
it didn't make the flame girl or like the water guy like their
If anything,
concept any stronger.
If anything, it muddied it a little bit.
Yeah, it did. It took away from like their actual silhouette.
Yeah, and people are
sometimes.
like, oh, well, every Pixar movie is like boasting about some new like animation thing. It's like, yeah, what did Incredibles like do overtly? You know, the characters weren't walking around as little subsurface scattering
Like
anthro
orbs,
characters.
yeah. They weren't like a blender test.
It's like, you take the idea and you build the story around it, but you don't have to actually go like,
You know,
we can do water now. Let's make water.
I was telling this to Mark, where I feel like the idea for Elemental would have worked a lot better if it had like a UPA kind of art style.
Yeah.
And it was like, and it was kind of like Paperboy.
It was like a CG.
Where it was CG 2D.
Yeah.
You know, 2.5.
Dude, Disney
D.
are fucking up.
Yeah,
Disney are really.
Disney
You know what I
is
saw
fucking
today?
up.
They're re-releasing Toy Story and The Incredibles and Monsters Inc. and stuff in theaters soon.
That's not uncommon though.
Yeah, but it's still like right after Elemental flops.
That's
I think
fair.
they want money.
That's fair.
That's
fair. Although, I mean, look at like what they have, like the Regal Cinema like summer blammo,
yeah, we're gonna
where
go see Curious George.
they re-show or whatever, they like rerun movies or whatever that they had in the past. Same thing. They do that every year for like Studio Ghibli films.
Well, I've
or
never
Ghibli.
lived here, to be fair. If you
That's
are not
fair.
going to get movies replayed in Ireland.
Really?
No.
You
never.
guys don't have like bring your kids to
Not
the
in
movie.
any theater that was near where I lived.
You guys are like corporate, just like whatever.
Yeah,
films
we
they
also
get.
barely showed like new movies. Like it had to be like if it was like kind of like an obscure thing. You know what?
That's so funny because we went to Ireland to see Sonic early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird
I
to
just
think
released
of?
it stuff, but stuff like I remember I wanted to see The Disaster Artist really badly. Didn't come out in any cinema near me. You know, it was like I think it was like a 2-hour drive to get to a theater that would play it. So here I'm not used to like, oh, we're just gonna bring back all these other movies. You know.
It's like more out there films. You wouldn't have them in your local cinemas. You'd probably have them at like a small town cinema.
Yeah,
Like
but I also don't even
artistic
know where
cinema.
you'd find one of those that isn't in like Belfast or Dublin. You know.
Really?
You're not gonna find one of those in like a shitty town.
Fair.
But Transformers didn't do that well. Disney's not doing that well. DC is
the Flash
is taking the cake though for fucking up the most. They had Black Adam, which they thought Dwayne the Rock Johnson thought that was gonna be the big fucking thing, and it
Nope.
bombed hard. It didn't even like it didn't make nothing. It just
And we saw
the
it
budget was so
everywhere.
high.
We saw Black Adam shit
Yeah.
everywhere. Marketing was crazy.
That's definitely a case where the marketing budget exceeds the production budget.
Yeah.
They were doing
And
collabs
then
with Mr. Beast.
Same thing with Shazam.
Shazam Fury of the Gods.
Shazam that bombed, and that had a lot of marketing too. We
but
saw
also
that everywhere.
I'm like, it's Shazam 2. Of course, no one wanted to see it. The first Shazam
but
was
the
good,
first Shazam was so good. Like,
but it wasn't like a mega hit or
do
anything.
you think it's because it took too much time in between?
Yeah, too much time, but also Shazam is not like that memorable of a character. Shazam works as like a standalone movie. I don't really think it needed a sequel.
Shazam does look better as a standalone movie.
I didn't need to see Zach Dempsey like running around more.
I love that Zach Dempsey is in Shazam.
We gotta do a 13 Reasons Why episode. Maybe
Yeah,
we
we
do it
do.
sometime. We recorded one like 1 year ago. and it
Actually, a year ago with like
it was the
Dumbsville
last
and
big
Uric.
time. Yeah, but not.
No, we're not using that footage. It
we-
was terrible.
It was in our Airbnb at the time. With
There was like 6 of us with these 2 mics on
all
each
sitting around the
side
kitchen
around a
table.
kitchen table with no acoustics,
And
like
some of
foam or
us-
nothing.
Some of us are sharing mics, like.
And they're pulling the mics and talking. Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah, I actually deleted the audio for that this morning.
I actually deleted the files on Google Drive.
What a
I'm pretty
coincidence.
sure. Not today. I think a while ago.
Yeah, The Flash is currently like doing really poorly. I think it's only made around 100 and something million.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
But that movie like was doomed from the start. It seemed like nothing can go right for DC at the minute.
You know, I was explaining to Mark, like, I feel like DC has a hard time making movies and hard time making them look good. And a lot of it is because the concepts that they have for their superheroes are so unrealistic compared to Marvel characters. You know what I mean? Except for Batman.
Maybe it's just a case where Marvel has like I'm sure Marvel has a lot of like wacky characters too, but I'm sure it's just that DC has like less normal, conventionally normal.
Look
ones
at
to use.
how Marvel handled Watchmen. You look at Dr. Manhattan, and like that was in 2009. I
Is that a
think.
good movie?
Yeah, I like it. I mean,
Never seen it.
I like the comics, but the movie is like I think the best rendition you could possibly get of a comic, like graphic novel adaptation. But like then you look at Aquaman and him in action, and you're like, no, that looks horrible.
Yeah.
You know, so and like Dr. Manhattan's super unrealistic looking, but it still it just worked.
Yeah, but then the Marvel movies are just like it's a guy. So I guess yeah, in a way
Yeah,
that's
the Marvel
it's
movies are
easier.
literally Captain America is just a guy in a uniform, and then like, but he's like a soldier, right? Then you have Iron Man, he's like a guy but with a suit.
But the thing is, I remember like the Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad by
The
James
second
Gunn.
one,
Yeah, it's like the second one that has nothing to do with the first
I
one,
never
except
saw that
for
one.
Margot Robbie. I didn't see the second one either, but I've seen like stuff of it. You know, I've seen people talking about it, and I know what happens and stuff. But that seems like it takes the concept of DC having so many silly, like dumb characters, and actually uses it to its advantage. Where you're seeing all these silly characters team up to like do like fight a silly bad guy,
Yeah,
but that's not what DC wants. They want to be taken seriously.
they
Want
want
to
to be dark and brooding and like
and have a multiverse where everything's connected. You know.
yeah.
Um,
You know what it is? Is it started with The Dark Knight. Dark Knight came out. It was really dark and it was really brooding and it was really edgy, right? And so then DC tried to keep making that happen. So they made Superman. They made that really dark and
And no one
brooding,
liked
and
it.
nobody liked it. And then they made Wonder Woman, which also has very dark, dark
Woman, yeah.
undertones.
Wonder Woman is like they shot the whole movie and then they were like, "Fuck, we gotta like brighten it up a little bit, add jokes, you know." So it's like,
So it's like really weird.
yeah. And then Batman v Superman, like,
Yeah,
terrible
no,
movie.
and it's dark. It's all
Yeah.
fucking dark and gray. Everything looks gray.
That's a Zack Snyder thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yes and no.
But that's what they wanted. That's what DC wanted.
Same
it
thing with
seems.
Joker.
Yeah,
It's-
I like Joker.
But Joker is different because Joker's different, but
That's
it's
what
like,
I think DC should do. Just make standalone movies that are like weird and experimental and are different
but
things.
not, yeah, but they don't do that.
'Cause
They
they want it all
want
connected.
formulaic.
They want the Justice League
Yes.
movie that makes $200 billion.
They want their own fucking Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Whereas Marvel, at least all of their films all have like a tone. They all have
They're
like
all-
good colors. They got good music.
They're all
you know what
bland.
I mean?
It's like a little
it's
special.
creative. It actually looks good.
Yeah.
You know. Ugh, it's
Most
so
of the
frustrating.
time.
And so yeah, most of the time. Most of the time.
Sometimes the CG's really. bad.
Sometimes it's really bad, but most of the time it looks pretty good, and like the way that it's executed is just better. And DC hurts every time, so that's why it's no fucking surprise that the Flash was shit,
Yeah, and Warner Brothers is taking like a hit.
and
as
they're taking a
whole.
big
Warner
hit
Brothers.
because they've been fucking up the worst.
They're selling $500 million of all their
To Sony,
I think it's like-
right?
Yeah, but I don't think it's everything they own. I think it's of their music specifically.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
which
didn't know
still
that.
it's still
Oh.
a big loss.
That is
Half
that is a lot.
$500 million. So yeah, that they're doing really badly. What else is coming out? Teenage. I was talking to Veronica.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, that looks
Oh,
fun.
that
I think
looks
that'll
really
do.
fun.
I think that'll do all right.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Teenage Kraken.
Oh,
is that what
God.
it's called? Ruby?
Yeah, Ruby Teenage Kraken. That fucking blow up.
The next DreamWorks movie comes out tomorrow, and it currently has like a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm seeing like all these really positive like people in animation tweeting about how they saw it like the day like opening night. Because I think you can like preview.
You could like see pre-screenings.
And they're all like, "I'm sorry, it just wasn't good." And even the people being nice about it are still like, "Yeah, there's a lot of pacing issues, and the characters aren't very well written, and it's just not very good." But the animation.
You know
looks
what though?
good.
That's good. That kind of that's constructive criticism.
Yeah.
For a project to come out there and you to be like, "Hey, listen, it just wasn't good."
Yeah, it is nice that a movie can come out and people can kind of be like
honest about it.
like an animated movie specifically, because I feel like
Yeah, because the animation community, they're very. I feel like they
Because
praise anything that just
animation
gets
is
made.
cinema, so everything animated is automatically like good.
Art and good. Yeah.
So
There are such thing as bad animated movies, and unfortunately, apparently, Kraken is one of them.
yeah, or at least not good.
We should go see it,
we should go see it, and it's
and I have a wench review for it.
it's tracking to make a total of $8 million in its opening weekend.
Oh.
And 8 million is like for a company like DreamWorks, they should be making that in like a day, you know. And
So-
they should be making that on preview night.
So, Kraken, Flash, those ones are like the bombs right now. There's a lot of bombs right now going on.
Elemental is the big bomb right now, although it's having a mini version of the Puss in Boots thing, where because Puss in Boots did really badly at first.
Yeah, it did.
Because it came out alongside Avatar too, but purely from word of mouth, it was able to get like 450 million, which isn't great. Like it's not amazing or anything.
They broke even, but they didn't break even.
They like
Wasn't it?
no, it was a cheaper movie. I think that's another thing. When you're not trying to make your movies like fucking ultra realistic all the time,
You can make them look fun and cheap.
and cheap, yeah.
Yeah.
but
without having like a million
without having
different fur
without having the fucking
polygons.
cartoony soul guy next to all these realistic humans in a realistic set. Yeah, yeah, no, Puss in Boots it made a lot of money, I think, just from one DVD sales too, probably like streaming, but also from that like rise in the box office when it got good reviews and people came out of Elemental being like, that was solid, you know, it's
I
good. So
think
I think it's getting
Elemental got a
like
turnaround a lot too because people were just obsessed with drawing.
the
The art community, at least, was
characters.
obsessed drawing with the characters
Yeah,
all the
it's
time.
colorful. It's a colorful movie.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
Um,
There's another movie that just recently came out
yeah, what is
that we
look it up?
watched.
Yeah, we watched a lot of
Oh,
movies.
we watched
Asteroid
Asteroid City.
Wes
I'm a
Anderson.
super huge Wes Anderson fan. So we went to go see Asteroid City, and I honestly really, really liked it. We hung out with our friend Miranda, which, if you don't know who Miranda is,
From this episode.
look at that. And she had saw it recently as well. And we were both just talking about it, and she was like, upon the second time of watching it, I kind of caught on to a lot of more things that made me understand this film a little bit more, which is making me like consider it a favorite almost. And so it got me thinking because every time I watch like a Wes Anderson film, this like I always rewatch them, and every time I rewatch them, I always find something else that like speaks out to me. So I think this movie is going to be another one of those.
Watch it
But
again.
I definitely suggest you guys go and see it.
It's doing well.
It's artistic as hell, so go in with an open mind and just take it for what it is.
I don't know if this is true, but I think it had the best opening of any one of his
Any
movies.
of his films, which is surprising to me because
doesn't-
Grand Budapest was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I think it made like $9 million.
That's pretty good.
That was on its opening weekend, or that was on its opening like night. I don't remember, but it did well. Is the point?
Yeah.
And people either really like it or really hate it, which seems usual for one of those
That's
more like artsy
very,
movies.
very usual for his films. There's like, it's really funny. Me and Miranda were kind of going down a laundry list of like our favorite films by him, and like two of my favorite films are like are some that she doesn't actually like, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, like which?
She didn't like Life Aquatic. She thought she just didn't get it. And
Which is fair.
Which is fair because there is
a level of like
acquired
getting
taste.
it. Yeah.
It's an acquired taste.
Like I would not walk out of Asteroid City being like that was a good movie. I was just like,
yeah, you're like, oh, what was that?
yeah, I feel like I'm not smart enough for it. I don't watch enough of those.
Which is, I feel like is untrue because sometimes you talk about movies and I feel like you're too like I'm not smart enough to keep up with you.
I don't know. It's
like
just
literally
that
earlier in this conversation, you're talking about budgets from movies, and I'm like, I don't know any of this shit.
I guess I just like the more production side of it, you know. But when it comes to like
the emotions, the emotional side of things.
When it comes to like those kind of movies where you have to watch it multiple times to get it, you know, I'm just like I'll watch something else, you know. Like it's like I could put in the effort, but I just don't want to. But I can still acknowledge that like it's a good movie, you know.
I know what you mean. I think for me, I like.
You like analyzing it. And
I like analyzing the emotions behind it and like the meanings behind things and what was the intention.
Yeah.
But like with Wes Anderson films, I always find myself to be perplexed enough to want to like watch it again to understand it more. And I feel like if a film gives you that kind of feeling, then
I guess I'm always like, there's something more here, and I kind of get what it is. But I'm fine with just kind of getting it, you know? I'm fine with
I'm not, I just can't. You know what? And it's like...
That's because you're a fan of the director, yeah.
I mean, no. Well, I mean, yes. But also... No, like, because I think back of how I, like, deep dived into Evangelion. And it's like, I didn't understand it. So I had to, like, engulf everything.
But then that would have been better if you didn't dive into it.
Yeah, because it was a fucking waste of time.
Yeah. So it's that thing of, like, is it better?
I mean...
Is it better to dive?
But
it is.
You know
better.
What? It's better to deep dive because then I learned something about myself, but also at the same time...
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good movie. I would watch it again if you wanted to watch it.
I would love to watch it again.
Sure. Let's invite someone else. Let's invite Kellen.
Yeah? You want to invite Kellen? I don't think Kellen would like Asteroid City.
That's true. There are no Transformers.
Although Kellen did go to Shakespeare camp, so maybe he would like Asteroid City, actually.
Maybe. Okay. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll ask him.
Well, yeah, we never know. You know what? Call him right now. You know what? Don't call him right now.
No, let's call him right now.
You gonna call him right now?
Yeah, why?
Oh, what a crazy idea.
Guys, we have Kellen Goff on the phone right now. Kellen didn't answer.
Kellen didn't want to talk to us.
Kellen didn't want
He
to
looked
talk
at that
to
little
you
wench
anymore.
and he was like, I don't want to play with you anymore.
Bye, wenchling.
Bye, wenching.
So,
would
you say that 2023 is a good year for movies as of now?
Absolutely. We
Yeah?
still have to look forward to Barbie, Oppenheimer. We still have to look forward to the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Saw 10.
Like, so yeah, Saw 10.
We can finally do our Saw episode. You know what? I'm glad
that we've been
to
talking about
see-
for like almost a year
Yeah,
now.
There's been a bunch of like
Here, wait, Sonny, put a little jigsaw right here and have him wheel away to the other side of the screen.
have him do little wheelies like in a
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, have him do a little wheelie right there. Pop a wheelie
And
right
have
there.
him stop and go, and then have him stop, and then slowly
Zoom
roll
into his
off.
face.
And then
Now
have him
zoom
wink,
out.
edit him winking,
Yeah.
like with ding,
With a gling. Yeah.
and then have him slowly walk away.
But then have the little hook come across the screen and grab him by the neck and then pull him off screen and go da 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 da.
One thing I'm very like happy about, I guess, is that during COVID, everyone was like, the theaters are dying. You know, you have like AMC.
You were happy about that?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that during COVID, that everyone was saying that like no one wants to go to theaters anymore. Everyone wants to watch streaming. So all movies are just gonna come out on streaming now. So I'm glad to see 2023 kind of like prove that
wrong.
people are willing to go to the box office, whether or not the movie, or depending on whether or not the movie is good or stars Mario.
You know what it is? You know what it is though is that people are so tired of having to sit indoors. The luxury of like being able to watch something from your home kind of dissipates when you want to like kind of get out and do shit.
Yeah, I'm really glad that people are going back out to see movies, and we're seeing all these movies do really well again. Although some of the movies where I feel like they should be breaking $1 billion aren't. Like
$1 billion?
yeah, Guardians 3. Mario is the only movie to break $1 billion this year. I was
That
so
makes sense.
sure that
makes sense to me.
Guardians not making $1 billion.
Fuck no.
Didn't the second one make $1 billion?
Dude, people don't give a shit about Marvel movies anymore.
I guess that is it.
Like,
yeah.
think about Doctor Strange. Like, I thought the Doctor Strange movie was gonna be like a big fucking hit,
Yeah, and it just
and
like,
people
alright.
like poopy all over
People
it.
do just like Spider-Man now.
People only like Spider-Man and Batman.
Yeah.
Those are the only two fucking IPs that ever like
regularly
yeah.
get movies every couple of years.
And people love each one.
Yeah.
Or most of them.
You know what I wish for Guardians 3 though, which is like really making me not care about Marvel, like even though I didn't really in the first place, but now I even less, is that ever since Endgame, every Marvel movie has to be like, this is what we're doing after Thanos did that thing.
Yeah, it is always like a weird like epilogue.
It's always like a joke where they have to make a joke like, oh yeah, this thing happened. Now we have to deal with this.
There's like a weird aftermath they have to explain for no reason.
Which in turn like changes events of the movies in between. Like so you have Guardians 1, then Guardians 2 like being a sequel to it, and then you have Guardians 3 where Gamora is suddenly like
Dead
memory
and
wiped
different.
and doesn't like
It's a different
love.
Gamora.
Yeah. It's like Gamora from the past, and it's like I can't watch these 3 movies without having to be like, oh yeah, I have to think about what happened in all these other fucking 50
But they
million
do
Marvel
a good
movies.
they do a good tasteful way of letting the audience know.
Yeah.
You know what I
Although they
mean?
do it in a
James Gunn
pretty-
does a pretty good like seamless way of kind of just picking up where it left off without having to explain too much.
Yeah, I don't know about seamless though. It's more like he's aware of how annoying it is, so he will have a scene where Peter is in an elevator talking to a woman, and he's just like awkwardly giving her like the rundown of everything that happened, you know, and it's meant to be like, oh,
It's not that overt, is it?
It's him in the elevator going down with like a gun to someone's head, being like, I'm so sorry about this. This guy, purple guy, came and did the space thing, and he killed her. And
But
I'm
we
the past
already
version of her.
oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, but it's like whatever. That like adds to the character.
That's what
that
I
kinda,
said.
yeah, that
That's
exposition's
what I
fine.
said. Yeah.
You're right. That's not as seamless as I thought it would be.
It's not seamless, but it's James Gunn at least being like, look, I get it. This is like annoying.
yeah.
Here you go. You know, here's the acknowledgement.
At least
of
he
it.
does it in a way that's a quip.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how he's gonna handle
Although-
the DC. Okay, what?
Sorry.
What?
I was gonna say, although the ending to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, like
I wasn't satisfied
the
because
post-credit ending,
oh, what was the
where
post?
it's like,
oh, it's just him
he
like
will return.
yeah, it's like no shit, but like what are you gonna do with it? You know, like
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't care. I think they just put it there. Just put it there. You know.
If they made like an ending or not ending. Like if they made like a sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy 3, where it's like only about Rocket's little Guardians of the Galaxy group, would you be interested?
I would not watch it now.
No, you wouldn't want to watch the little Russian dog.
I just wouldn't care. We've been watching a lot of Fairly Odd Parents for my video coming out soon. If you're watching this podcast, you'd know it's a video ranking Fairly Odd Parents. And we're about on what
like season 4?
We're like halfway through season 4, and I'm forgetting about how many episodes that I would have assumed would have been from like season 2 or 3 came from season 4.
Dude, I think it's I'm like the opposite. I think like, oh wow, we're already like this happens all the way until season 4.
Like this happens as early as
yeah.
season 4. Like what?
No, oh god, the episode with Trixie where she's like, "Tell me I'm pretty." Like, Timmy wishes for everyone to be off of the planet, so it's just him and Trixie or whatever.
When did you think that was?
I thought that episode was like in season 6.
But that so were you still watching the show? Because that's when they introduced Poof.
I kind of dropped off when Poof was introduced.
Yeah, so yeah, you would have. Yeah, you wouldn't have seen it then.
But I never kept track of what episodes were on what season.
Yeah, meaning
except for like
kid,
season
yeah.
0. And like obviously season 1 looks different from season 2 and season 3. Like I can differentiate them now, but when growing
as a
up
kid,
I
couldn't tell. Yeah,
I didn't even know that there were seasons. I just was like, oh, Fairly Odd Parents is on. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just like differentiate them as like, oh, the old ones that look bad and the new ones that look good. Just because in my like mind it was like,
like clean.
It was
like
yeah.
The art?
In my head, I will like watch season 1 of Fairly Odd Parents and be like, oh, this is one of the old ones. You know.
I was always the opposite. I was like, oh, it's one of the old ones.
Yeah, no, I was even with like Family Guy or like Simpsons. I was like, ugh, fuck, old ones. Those are the better ones.
Did you ever watch Robot Chicken growing up?
No, I don't think we didn't have Adult Swim. I don't think.
Oh, at all?
I don't think so. No.
Damn.
Robot Chicken might have aired on.
How would you watch Family
Fox?
Guy? Fox.
BBC 3 aired Family Guy.
Oh.
Sky. Sky was the name of our cable box provider.
That's like our Comcast.
Yeah, and they aired The Simpsons. We started watching The Bear. We never mentioned The Bear.
Oh yeah.
We didn't start watching. We finished watching The Bear.
This episode was originally supposed to be about the bear.
But I don't think I would have that much to say about it.
There's really not much to say about the bear.
It's weird. We started watching The Bear coincidentally like a week before season 2 came out.
Right before season 2 came out.
So by the time we finished season 1, we immediately got to jump into season 2.
The only reason why we wanted to watch The Bear was because obviously Lip
from Shameless.
Jeremy Allen White is the lead in The Bear. And our Jaxie was telling me that The Bear was like a Shameless version of like Kitchen Nightmares.
It's like Shameless, but they're in a kitchen.
Yeah, Shameless is cooking it with Shameless.
Yeah, and I was hearing nothing but good things all over the internet.
Yeah, so I constantly saw memes about it.
Yeah, the meme. Yeah, I was like, holy shit, this show's gonna be great. So I want to watch it when we're like ready to sit down and ready for it.
Because we just finished watching like. I think around the time we were suggested The Bear, we just finished watching Breaking Bad and like Better Call Saul.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So we watched The Bear, and we got like, I was telling Veronica, I felt like every episode of the first season was like, okay, now it's gonna get good, but it never came.
Yeah, we were constantly waiting for that moment when it was like a Chef Gordon Ramsay moment in the kitchen, and it's like stressful, and we thought that was what the show was pretty much going to be.
And the first episode did that pretty well, I think.
Only the first episode and like the last episode was there really like any escalation. Throughout the entirety of the series, you're watching like Lip struggle and you're watching everybody around him stressing out.
That's the thing. You think it's going to be a show from all the marketing and everything. You think it's a show about Lip and him trying to like come and run this restaurant.
Career as a chef.
Yeah, or do that. But no, Lip is barely involved.
Lip is like
Lip
is like hardly involved in the series at all. The whole thing is about his sous chef the whole fucking time.
Yeah,
she's like the main focus.
Yeah, and then you have episodes Richie, where it focuses on his cousin, or other like the guy who makes the desserts there. He has to like go off and
he has his own arc.
Maybe that's in season 2.
It's like either way.
It's a blur, you know.
Season 1 is like establishing that okay, they're trying to run a business. Why they're drowning? They don't know what to do. They're in debt, right?
Yeah, money.
They're trying to figure it all out. At the end, obviously, they figure it out.
All the problem gets solved for them. They find that
$300,000
in exact amount of money
cans of fucking soup. Yeah.
So it's like cool. Great,
but when they get to the second season, it's like, oh, they have the money. Now they have to build the new restaurant, the Bear. They want to build it
and take out a loan for another $500,000.
So in total, they would are in debt $800,000.
And it said like there's all these threats like if you guys don't start like turning around like immediately, like if you do, it's like, oh, we're closing in 2 months, which is really tight, and then the guy comes in, it's like, no, you're opening in 10 days,
and if you don't have all your permits, we're gonna shut you down permanently.
and then it's like, oh shit. But then it just cuts, and they're all fine.
It's like they
the
just
place is all
started.
built up.
It's already made. Every time they give you a problem that they have to face, they never show you how they faced the problem. They just show you the end result, the aftermath of the end result.
There's
the
an
next
episode,
scene.
I think it's in season 1, where it's really bad, where the whole thing is, oh, they set up a new online ordering
To go
system,
ordering.
but the girl forgot to put a limit on it, so they get like 200 orders, and they're all scrambling, what the fuck do we do? And the girl's like, I'm sick of this, I'm leaving, so she leaves.
Yeah, she fucks up, and everyone gets mad at her, and she knows it's her fault.
And then it feeds
so she
the black.
quits. So she quits, and then the guy, like, Lip is just standing there with his finger in his ass, like, what the fuck do I do? And then
It cuts.
That's it.
And then the next time, it's just fine.
They're fine.
It's,
Everything's
it's like
fine.
a different day. You know,
Yeah.
you don't hear anything about what happens about, like on that day, if they were able to do it or not. And some might argue that that's not what the show is about, but I'd argue that it's season 1. You should probably show some of the
There should
characters
be
doing
some-
kitchen stuff.
There should be some physical character development that we see on screen. We should be witnessing these characters experience something that changes them.
Be able to work better as a team as well.
Yes, and we only see like the preparation of the peak barely happening, and then the aftermath of the resolution.
To introduce a new conflict.
Yes, it's like it's so quick, and so everything kind of means nothing, but it also means everything. Like the world is ending at the same time.
Everything's so serious, yeah.
It's very
And
weird.
Season 2 was similar, but season 2, by the second half, started to get like good, you know, like solid. Where it's like a flashback episode of Lip and his family, and you're seeing how dysfunctional they all are with his mom and his brother who's now dead. And it's like, why isn't the show about this?
Yeah, why isn't this? There's the Christmas episode, The Seven Fishes is what it's called, and it actually is like a weird like drama telenovela where you're following along with Lip's family, and you realize what it's about,
Yeah, and it's tense.
and it's miserable.
Yeah.
Like it is so awkward and frustrating, and like and anxiety inducing. But you would think that they would have that kind of same tension build up and tension throughout them scrambling to build this restaurant, but they just
Time,
don't
yeah.
show it.
It's like, oh my god, we have to do this in time. Cuts to the next episode, it's done. You know.
To be fair, it is like an hour and a half like long episode. Or it's like
Yeah,
an hour long
yeah.
episode.
But then again, it's like, why is that like episode like 6 of season 2? Why isn't that either?
Why
at the
isn't that
start,
established?
or,
Yes.
like it just feels like, oh, we have to have this like payoff for that thing that happened there. So now we'll just set up that
You
this
know
is
what
a thing. You know.
It's also like they make you have to like learn with Lip why his family trauma is like a problem, why everything was a problem, and like what the relationship meant between him and his siblings. And like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but at the same time they don't entirely resolve these issues with Lip. Lip doesn't actually fully come to terms with the things that are brought up in front of him.
Yeah.
And when you actually see that 7 fish night, you see what his life was like and his relationship with his family was like and his brother.
It's like, oh, it's miserable.
Then yeah, it's miserable, and you understand why he left. And it's like you can have that aha moment later on, but I feel like as far as the series goes, it would make you give more of a shit about what all of this means if you had explained it earlier on.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's about like learning to appreciate the
Maybe.
series.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We wanted it to be something that it wasn't, but what it is to
True.
me is just kind of like whatever. And then the next couple episodes, like the one where it's the cousin Richie going to the place to learn
He goes
how
to like a restaurant to like
learn how to be
learn-
cordial, like learn how to wait tables properly or be nice to people. And
I think it was just to snap him into like learning how to respect
others.
the others and like
The
the craft, yeah.
And that one, I liked that one. I
was a
liked
good one.
whatever next one was, but I liked the Lip relationship one, which I think was next. But the finale I thought was like really good for the first like.
yeah, the finale was
chunk.
great.
It's like 15 minutes of like one uncut shot, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of like that's pretentious, sure, but it looks really
but
good.
it's really well done, yeah. It's
uh,
like the front of the house in the restaurant and then like the
It's
back
like
of
all
the
calm and
house.
peaceful at the front, and then you see it like go through the door, and it's all hectic, and like everyone's like screaming and shit like that behind the closed doors, and it's really good. But then the ending, it's like everything hinges on this night going well. This is their first night, and then from what I remember, it was only a couple days ago. It ends before you get to see how the night went.
You don't even get to see how the night goes.
Yeah.
It ends with Lip getting trapped in the freezer and them all trying what?
Well, he gets trapped like midway through.
Yeah, in the first like 10 minutes of like the peak of their like ordering.
I think that's when the like one cut shot like ends.
Yeah.
Is when he gets locked.
It ends when he's getting like sawed out.
That's when the one uncut shot ends?
Yeah, because the one cut shot ends right before he gets locked in.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's what I said.
Sorry,
yeah.
I meant like the actual scene itself.
No, I meant like the one cut shot.
Sorry,
like
I meant the scene. The scene itself ends with like him being like sawed out of the freezer. So you don't, and then like him finally getting out, but he doesn't. You don't get to see how the night goes. You don't get to see what happens.
Yeah, what the payoff is. There's no like, from what I remember, there's no real epilogue, and it's just kind of like, that was another season of The Bear. Like that was there was some good. There was like mostly fucking boring.
It felt like somebody was like writing an essay for school, and they had a really strong thesis, and then everything in the middle of how they explained it didn't really explain anything, and then you have a resolution at the end.
Like the way it looks is great. The direction is like stellar, but I just don't care about most of these characters.
It is pretty pretentious though.
It is pretty pretentious.
But is it because of like? Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I think a show has a right to be pretentious when it kind of sets up the fundamentals. First of all, when it kind of establishes these characters in a way where you're actually like, okay, I care about them. Then it's like, okay, then go off and do all your other shit. But it kind of just like
throws you into the
gets
shit.
right into it. Yeah, which is something that I think this other show we've been watching, Barry,
does similarly, but
is doing better,
way better.
We're like halfway through season 3 at the minute, and Barry is miles better than the Bear, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's like a slow burn. It's the Barry. I can't say that name very well. Barry reminds me of Better Call Saul in a way.
Barry's like, you know what it is? It's like the scenes in between Saul working like at his like lawyer job doing that, and then going behind scenes and working with Nacho.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That. Yeah, where it's like normal life, like mob crime
double life. Yeah.
And like it's not as artsy. It's not as like fucking like
it's pretty artsy,
solid. Yeah, but not as much as the Bear.
Yeah, not as much as the Bear.
The acting isn't as like we take pauses and we whisper.
Yeah, it's not like weirdly like professional and snobby.
Yeah, but it works better because the characters are relatable. The characters are like likable. The characters are fun to follow along with. Even when you don't like them.
You have like a weird like drive to see these characters succeed, or these characters get what they want. And so I think Barry has a very better way of achieving that. And they actually show you. They actually walk you through everything. Whereas the Bear, it doesn't. It kind of time skips, and it's really kind of disorienting.
Yeah.
And tonally, it feels weird.
With Barry, they keep setting up early on that he has like fantasy sequences.
Yeah.
And this might be my fault. I got up to let the dog out to pee, and I walked back, and we're seeing Barry like laying on a hammock with the girl he's been like in love with the whole series, and it's like him sitting down for like his acting teacher and the police woman who's been like trying to chase after who killed the guy, which is fucking him, and it's like, is this another fantasy sequence? And it keeps going, and it goes on for like 10 minutes,
and
I'm
you can't tell.
This is just what the show is now. We're just like in here now, like, which is kind of jarring, but maybe they established it, and I was.
It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird though, because they did drop the fantasy sequences like after a couple times of using them.
Yeah.
They only did it like once or twice of like him like envisioning his life with this woman and having a kid and like them taking a family photo together.
Yeah, I liked all that stuff.
But when it cut to them actually being in a relationship, they didn't actually really establish it, and
that the first shot looks fake.
That also wasn't like a season shift. That was like a regular episode, wasn't it? That wasn't the start of the season, was it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because the season ends
with him.
Well, we shouldn't. I don't know. Well, you don't know him.
Well, who cares? Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, Barry
way better than the Bear.
All right. Bear's fine.
The Bear's all right.
Lip is good.
I don't think it does. Yeah, Lip is great. I don't think the Bear deserves. No, but it does because it actually is really well done.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know.
Don't personally like it.
Yeah.
That much. We
will
watch.
The Bear gets like a 7.
Yeah.
The Bear gets a 7. Barry has an 8. 8.5 almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, depending on how it ends.
Depending on how this ends, we gotta finish.
Yeah, you were right though. I wasn't expecting all of Barry to be about this one conflict.
Yeah, I thought that Barry was going to be like this man finding himself in consistent conflicts because of like his predatory nature, I suppose, or his violent nature. But like,
it's just about this one.
This is just about this one isolated scenario that just kind of keeps branching off into a bigger tree of problems.
Which is fun. It's good.
It is cool seeing these dominoes fall.
Just not what I expected.
But I like
I like it,
I'm
I like
pleasantly
it.
surprised. I think that makes me enjoy it even more.
Yeah. Hey, little wench guy.
What do you have to say, little wench
What
guy?
do you think about Barry?
I think it's pretty good, but put me down, you stupid dickhead. Thank you. It's very good.
He couldn't get back up. Oh.
But yeah. anything-
Guys, let us know in the comments what you think of the bear.
And let us know what you think of Barry, and let us know what you think of Transformers: Rise of Mr. Beast, and let us know what you think of Ruby Gillman,
No,
Teenage Kraken.
Let us know what you think of Call Jacobs.
And let us know what you think of Carl Jacobs, dot Mr. Beast, and let us know what you think of Boogeyman. Let us know what you think of the
Super
Flash.
Mario Brother
Let us know what
movie.
you think of Mario Brother movie. Let us know.
somebody make you think of Mario Brother movie.
Elemental. Let us know
Let me
what
know
you
what you
think
think of Pixar movie.
Let us know what you think of. What else do we see? Asteroid City, and also, The Fairly Odd Parents season 4 episode 12. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, but let us know what you think of this little. Look how bloated his belly is.
he's
He
got
has to
pee.
pee. We can tell. Look at it. He's so stiff right now. But yeah, guys, leave a review. Let us know. Subscribe, and oh yeah, and by the way,
Mario movie.